Undercover owners saw Waitress with a broken hand in his diner. Denise Carter balanced trays with one arm, wrapped in bandages, pushing through the pain, while her manager Ross tore into her for every tiny mistake. Customers whispered, some pitying, others shaking their heads at this cruelty. What no one knew was that their injury was an accident, and Ross washing something far darker. Watching from the corner booth, Harold, the undercover owner, realized things didn't add up. The deeper he dug, the more disturbing the truth became. Before we go any further, if this is your first time watching one of our videos, we'd love for you to hit that subscribe button. Your support means the world to us, and it helps us bring you even more powerful stories. Stick with us till the very end, and if the story moves you, drop your thoughts in the comments and share it with a friend. Now let's begin. The diner smelled of burnt coffee and fried bacon that never quite left the air. Morning rush hour meant the counter buzzed with chatter, the hiss of the grill and the shuffle of plates stacked high. In the middle of it all was Denise Carter. She was hard to miss, not because she made a scene, but because she worked like three people rolled into one. Her hair tied back, apron already stained. She carried steaming mugs in her good hand while balancing plates against her hip. The other hand, her left, was wrapped in bandages that stretched to her wrist. Anyone watching closely could see the stiffness in her movements, the quick flinch whenever her fingers brushed something by mistake. But Denise smiled anyway. That was her shield. Behind the counter, the manager, Ross, leaned against the register, smirking as he barked orders. "Pick it up, Denise. Don't keep people waiting." "You think this is a charity?" His voice cut through the diner like a knife, loud enough for customers to hear. A few looked up, shaking their heads, whispering. At table 3, 2 women in business suits leaned closer, their voices low. "Poor thing. Look at her hand. She shouldn't even be working." "Yeah, but Ross, he never lets up. Always in her case. I don't know how she takes it." Denise heard them. She heard everything. The laughter, the pity, the digs Ross made. Every time she moved slower than usual, and yet she kept going because for her, quitting wasn't an option. Rent didn't wait. Bills didn't care. By mid-morning, sweat had gathered at the back of her neck. Her good arm ached from carrying too much weight alone. She sat down and ordered Attable 6, whispered a soft, "Enjoy your meal," and turned only to bump into Ross himself. The collision sent a glass of water spilling across his shirt. Thediner went silent. Ross leaned in so close she could smell the sour coffee on his breath. "Clumsy again? You're just looking for excuses, aren't you?" A few customers shifted uncomfortably. Someone muttered, "Man, give her a break." But Ross ignored them, his eyes locked on Denise like a predator enjoying the hunt. She mumbled an apology, reached for a towel with her good hand, but has snatched it away. His lips curled into a grin only she could see, the kind that told her this wasn't about the spill, it was about control. And the worst part, she knew why. Weeks earlier, she had overheard Ross bragging about skimming money from the register. She hadn't meant to listen. She was just cleaning tables after closing when his voice carried through the thin office door. At first, she thought she heard wrong, but when she pressed her ear closer, every word confirmed it. Ross was stealing. And when he caught her outside that night, frozen in the hallway, she remembered the flash of anger in his eyes, the way his hand shot out and twisted her wrist until something cracked. The pain had dropped her to her knees, but Ross only sneered. "Clumsy, huh? Better keep it that way. One word about what you heard, and you won't just lose your job." Now, with her hand bound and useless, she was the one being marked as incompetent. By the end of her shift, Denise's body was trembling from exhaustion. She leaned against the back counter, whispering a quiet prayer that no one heard. She didn't know it yet, but someone had been watching her every move. Someone she thought was just another customer grabbing a cheap meal, and that quiet gaze was about to change everything. Most customers came and went without much thought, eating their pancakes, tipping if they felt generous, and rushing back into the world. But one man never seemed to rush. He was older, maybe late 60s, with white hair trimmed neat, and boots that had seen more road than city sidewalks. Folks called him the vet because of the way he carried himself, straight-backed even when sitting, eyes sharp even when silent. Most thought he was just another retiree passing the time over a plate of eggs. Nobody knew that Harold Whitman was the actual owner of the diner. For years, Harold had kept his identity hidden, preferring to blend in with the regular crowd. He believed you saw the truth when people thought no one important was looking. That morning, Harold stirred his coffee slowly, his gaze fixed on Denise. He'd been watching her for weeks now, always working harder than the others, always the one Ross targeted. But today, with her hand bound in thick bandages, it was different. Every tray she carried looked like it might slip at any second. Every smile seemed carved out of pain. At the next booth, two young men whispered loud enough for Harold to catch. "Man, that manager's got it out for her. Yeah, I've seen the others slack off plenty, but he never says a word to them, just her." Harold's jaw tightened. He had run businesses long enough to recognize bias when he saw it, and cruelty. Ross strutted past Harold's table then, laughing at something on his phone. When Denise asked for help carrying a heavy stack of dishes, Ross didn't even glance at her. Instead, he muttered, "Use both hands." "Oh, wait, you can't." His chuckle cut through the diner like nails on glass. Harold didn't move. He didn't react. But inside, his blood simmered. Later, while Denise wiped down a counter, Harold caught the faintest winds in her eyes when she bent her wrist too far. He also noticed the way she avoided Ross, like a person who'd already learned that getting too close meant danger. Something wasn't adding up. When the lunch crowd thinned, Harold quietly asked for the manager. Ross came swaggering over, assuming it was just another customer complaint. Food not hot enough. Coffee too bitter? He smirked. Harold shook his head. "Just wondering about that waitress. She's injured. Why is she working the floor?" Ross's grin faltered for a split second, then it returned. "Her. She's clumsy. Always messing up. Half the reports in this place are on her, but she begged to stay on the shift, so I let her. You know, I'm generous like that." Harold nodded slowly, though inside, every word from Ross's mouth tasted like a lie. Generous? No. He'd seen the way Ross sneered, the way the customers whispered, the way Denise pushed through pain just to keep her dignity. That night, Harold sat alone at the corner booth long after most had gone. His coffee had gone cold, untouched. He stared at Denise cleaning tables with her good hand, still smiling faintly at strangers, even though her eyes looked heavy with fatigue. The old veteran narrowed his eyes. If Ross claimed Denise was the problem, then Harold was going to find out for himself. And if what he suspected was true, someone in this diner was about to regret underestimating both her and him. The next day, Harold returned to the diner. Same corner booth, same black coffee. To everyone else, he looked like the same old veteran with nowhere better to be. But his eyes weren't on the menu. They were on Ross. Ross strutted from table to table, cracking jokes with customers, laughing louder than anyone else. But the moment Denise walked by, his face hardened. Every move she made, he pounced. If she poured coffee too slowly, he snapped his fingers. If she wiped the counter twice instead of once, he smirked and muttered about wasting time. Harold noticed a pattern. It wasn't just criticism, it was targeted. And when Denise dropped a single fork, Ross shook his head dramatically, telling a nearby table, "See what I deal with." Always careless. Customers chuckled nervously, not sure if it was serious. Denise bent down, her good hand trembling, cheeks burning. By now, Harold's suspicion had turned into certainty. Ross was setting her up. That afternoon, Harold slipped into the back office under the pretense of looking for the restroom. The door was unlocked, papers scattered across the desk. His eyes landed on a stack of misconduct forms. Page after page had Denise's name scrolled across the top, each one accusing her of petty things, spilled drinks, forgotten orders, bad attitude. But Harold had eaten there for months. He'd never once seen Denise act out of line. He flipped further and found something worse. Cash register tallies that didn't add up. Every week their numbers dipped, but no reports had been filed. His stomach sank. He knew what theft looked like. He'd caught men in his old businesses before. Ross wasn't just cruel. He was dirty. That night, Harold stayed longer than usual, sipping his coffee while the diner emptied. As the last customers left, Ross retreated to the office. The door didn't close all the way, and voices drifted out. "Another $5,000 easy," Ross bragged, laughter spilling into the hallway. And when they noticed the cash missing, "That little waitress takes the fall. She's already got the most write-ups. Nobody's going to believe her over me." Customers turned in their seats. The two women from the business table whispered, I knew it."